Hi everyone, this is Jules Desjardins and I am making this video to show you how to use my software StreamGraphics. This software allows you to optimize your stream and show some graphic element into it so that you can show more info. So the examples you can see right now in the background are from French championships, so you can see both features of the software, which is the TimeTower on the left. This updates in real time with live score taking and shows who is currently winning. And you can also filter by country if you are doing this for a national or continental championship. And then the second feature is the cards that you can see in the bottom of each camera. So this can show information on a specific competitor, such as their name, if people in your audience may not know everyone who is solving, and also, for example, the PR or what they got in the previous round, etc. So for this tutorial, the different parts will be first a small introduction, and then I will show you how to install and set up everything. Then we will go in details into the three software, which are interface, cards, and TimeTower. And then finally, I will show you how to integrate it into OBS, which is what we've been using. I assume that different software work similarly, but I will be focusing on OBS for this one. As I kind of said in the introduction, there is three parts in this software, which is the interface. It is what you will use to control everything that shows. Then the cards, so the small competitor info, and the TimeTower. So now let's move on to installing the software. I will focus on Windows and Linux because I'm not familiar with Mac, but I assume it will be similar to Linux. So if you're using Windows, I've made a release of the software. You can go directly in the link in the description. And here we'll see 5 assets with the 5 software. You have the interface. So as I said, it will be the control software. Then you have cards and TimeTower, and then you have a fourth one, which is display. And this is actually cards and TimeTower on the same window. This can be useful in some setups I will show you later on. So what you want to do first is to download this release first. So download each of the 4 softs. If you're using Linux, you can go directly on the GitHub repository and then you can just launch the source yourself. So you have here the 4 Python scripts and the requirements if you want to. So this is a pip requirements. So yeah, if you want to run them by yourself, it should also work on Linux. Now that you have everything installed, there are 3 possible setups you can use. So for some setups you will need an additional step that I will show you later. So the first step should be to decide which setup you want to use. The first setup is what we used on Euros 2024. So this is a 3 PC setup. So basically you have the main streaming PC, and then you have another laptop that is running the display, as I said, on one window only, and then another laptop that is doing the interface. And then the display laptop just goes through the streaming PC as a source, so using an HDMI cable and a capture card. You can use it as a webcam, basically, and then you use this one as the source in your software. The pro of this is that the streaming PC doesn't have additional overhead of running the software, even though the overhead is a bit low, but just in case it's safer. But the obvious con is that you need one more laptop. So it depends, and also the capture card can be quite expensive. So it depends on your needs and on your budget and everything, but this is something that works very fine. A second one that we used in previous French Nats, and I believe that other nationals that used the software also did, is that the streaming PC is running cards and TimeTower, and then it uses these windows directly as a source in OBS or any other software. This is, I would say, the most balanced setup. And the advantage is that you only need one PC for the interface, but the con is that your streaming PC may have a bit of overhead. And then you have the third setup, which is kind of a one PC setup. So there is a 3, a 2, and this is one PC. In that case, you don't have an interface laptop because everything is going through the main streaming PC. The obvious con is that everything goes through it, so it has more overhead, but as I said, it's not that big. And also it means that you can't really use it for anything else because this PC both have the interface and your streaming software. So you need something else to control the streaming software. We did this year in French Nats because we had a Stream Deck to run our OBS. So it worked very well because we had the Stream Deck to do it. And this is very nice because you only have one PC to handle. You don't need an extra laptop for it. But it means that if you want to work on OBS, or if you don't have a Stream Deck, it's not possible, obviously. But if you want to work on OBS to change a scene or something, then you can't have the interface anymore because, well, you need to work on something else. So this setup works, but it may not be ideal depending on what you have. One big pro of this is that it doesn't need a Telegram bot that I will explain right after that, which is how the interface communicates with cards and TimeTower. This setup allows you to run everything locally, so you gain a bit of internet overhead, and this may not be negligible depending on your internet setup. Once you have everything installed, the next step is to create Telegram bots, because this will allow you to communicate between the interface and the cards in the TimeTower. So to do so, first obviously create a Telegram account. This is fairly easy if you have a mobile phone, but you also don't need to link it to your Telegram account. So I will let you first create the Telegram account and then use the web interface because this is the most practical to get everything. Then in the search bar, search for botfather. This is kind of a super bot that will allow you to create bots. Creating bots is very easy in Telegram, it's not difficult at all. So once you open your conversation with botfather, here you can decide to create a new bot. So as you can see, we already have some bots for previous years. So we will need 3 bots in total. One for the interface, one for the cards, one for the TimeTower. So let's create a first bot, which will be the interface bot. You just click create a new bot, then you choose a name. So for our purpose, I will use tutorial interface bot. And then you give it also a name. So let's say tutorial underscore interface underscore bot. This works. Obviously, for your championship, you will need to use your own bots. So you'll just need to create it just to make sure that it doesn't conflict, that everything works fine, and that, yeah, someone else is not using the same bot as you, because this can get a bit weird if this happens. So once you get this, you can create the bot. And here, what Telegram will give you is that this is an API key. So basically, this is what you need you will need to program the software. So here you copy the key and then just save it somewhere. So for this, I will be using this document just to store everything. So I will say that the interface is this API key. Then next bot, create a new bot. Once again, tutorial cards bot. Because as I said, we had interface, cards, and TimeTower. So now tutorial card bot. This works. Create bot, copy the key, and save it somewhere. For the last bot, I will try using the command line because it doesn't work apparently. So let's do new bot. This is the other way of creating them from botfather. So we use this small little window, but you can also do it by chatting with the botfather. So here, as the name, we'll use tutorial TimeTower bot. So tutorial TimeTower bot. And then, as you can see, the API key is shown a bit differently, but it's always the same idea. Here you can directly copy it, and then we will store it together with all our other keys. So we now have our 3 bots. Perfect. Now that you have all your bots, for the record, I have just created a new bot that is called card instead of cards, because I had issues finding the cards bot for some reason. But it's basically still the same. So once you have all your bots, you can click here on the pencil and do new channel. And then you don't add anyone yet. You just continue and then give it a name. So let's say tutorial StreamGraphics. You can give it your competition names, whatever. It doesn't have any significance. It's just to give it a name. And then you will have your channel. Now that you have your channel, you can add the bots to it. To do so, you click here on the bar, and then it's not a subscriber, basically it's an admin directly. So here on the pencil, you can edit it and add administrators. You have yourself, and then if you go here on the plus, you can look for bots. Yeah, I already searched for it, so it already appears. But here you can add the bot. It can do everything. Especially what's important is that it can post messages. Okay. Then you can add another bot, which is tutorial card bot here. Perfect. Everything as well. And then tutorial TimeTower bot. Okay, now we have our 3 bots here and myself in the channel. Once you have gotten your bot, you need to get the URL here. So this part, including the minus, but not including the ampersand here. Sorry, the hashtag here. This number is your channel ID. You will also need it afterwards, so save it as well. So here we got the channel is this number. Now everything is ready on the Telegram side. Now that you have everything, you can keep this open. It will be useful for monitoring your bots, but keep the notifications off because they will spam on this. Now that everything is set up, we can start working on the actual softwares. So these are the 4 executables that I downloaded from GitHub, as I showed you. And the first one we will see is the interface one. So you just double click on it. It's a Windows executable, so it just launches some command window and then launches the actual window. We don't need the command window. Don't close it, obviously, but just reduce it. The only useful info it could show is bugs. Basically, it could show you some bug info, but other than that, it doesn't matter for us. So here, as you can see, we have a series of buttons, so I will go through each one of them individually, and then here is some stuff that for now is empty but won't be that will populate as soon as we fill the parameters here. So you can make the window bigger, doesn't hurt. Then the first one is the competition ID. So the competition ID here is the WCA ID of your competition. So for this tutorial, I will use French Championship 2026, which is the last competition that we've used this tool in. So here you just type the WCA ID, so without spaces, so basically just the URL of your competition, and then update and reload the WCIF. WCIF here is a WCA format, so WCA file, that contains everything from your competition. So it contains the venue, the schedule, the registered competitors, the assignment, so competitor, judging, etc. It has everything and it's very useful for many developers. So it's great that we have such a tool. This button here to reload it, so basically if I just press it now, it doesn't change anything because updating the competition ID already loads. the WCIF. But it's very useful if you have, let's say, 2x2 first round in the morning and then 2x2 semifinals in the afternoon. When you open the software on the morning of your competition, you open it and the WCIF will contain the assignments for the first round, but it won't have the assignments for the semifinals later in the day because the first round hasn't happened yet. So a bit later, once the first round is over and you have assigned competitors for the semifinals, the WCIF will contain these values, but we don't have them yet because we have loaded it in the morning. So then you need to repress the button to reload it with new stuff. So basically, if a round or a group doesn't show on the interface, then it may mean that it wasn't populated yet. It wasn't assigned yet because the round wasn't, the previous round wasn't done yet. So in this case, just reload it and maybe now it will show, hopefully. A side note on this that is very important is that you need to assign competitors on Delegate Dashboard or Groupifier or AGE, anything. But you really need to have some assignments for them to show in this interface, because this uses assignments to know which competitors are qualified, in which groups they are, etc. So if you are doing a finals and you just write the scorecards by hand and you don't assign them somewhere, they won't show in the interface. So if you want to use this software, be careful to always generate assignments, competitor assignments for them, and then to reload once you have everything. Now the next button is the maximum seed. So basically what this button does is that it shows how many people you want to be able to see, because the interface will tell you, oh, in this group there are this person, this person, this person, they are the interesting people in the group. So here you can decide what someone interesting is, basically. So if you have a huge competition, if you are doing worlds, let's say, you can just put 100 or 50. It will just be like the top 100 of the competition in this event will show on your interface. You can do something very restrictive like 10, but then you may have some groups that don't have anyone for the top 10. So for one, let's say 100, this was a 300 people competition, so 100 doesn't filter a lot, but still filters some people. So let's do this. Now you have the number of cameras here. As you've seen in the example in the beginning of the tutorial, we had multiple cameras, so there can be multiple cards. This gives you how many you want. So let's say you have 4 cameras, then you want to be able to choose from 4 different people. So let's say 2 rows and 2 columns. And this will have 2 rows and 2 columns here, which are a bit too big, but we will do that a bit later. You can change if you want, let's say you want 6 cameras, which was actually the setup we used in French Championship. We wanted 3 rows and 2 columns. But as you can see, this pushes the buttons a bit back here, so we can't access them anymore. So you need to be careful not to have too many of them. In the future, I plan to add a scroll bar to it, so it's really lacking that we can't scroll, because it just crops and we can't see the rest of the window. Yeah, this is a bit bad, but this is something I want to add in the future. So for our tutorial, let's go back to have only 4 cameras, so 2 rows and 2 columns. So here we will have the camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 4. Then for each camera we can also have a number of competitors that we can choose from. So let's say you may want to go through 10 competitors per group. Maybe there are 10 interesting competitors per group. So this you can change in the number of buttons here. So let's say 10 would be something like 2 rows and 5 columns maybe would be nice. Yeah. So here it will show 2 rows and 5 columns of competitors. We'll see it a bit later on. So yeah, having a number small enough would allow you to be more focused on who is actually interesting. If you have too many people, you will need to filter through them, and it can be a bit difficult to do. The next button is the stages. So now you may not want to stream all your stage, or maybe you will only have one, typically one or two maybe that are streamed, and some side stages that you don't stream. So here you can choose which stages you want to look through. So here, for example, once you click on setup stage, you can add a stage. In our competition, we only had one venue. So this was this Gymnase Samuel Paya. And then we had 4 rooms. So 2 main rooms, green and purple, and 2 side rooms, orange and cream. So we were only streaming the 2 main rooms. But you may have 5 main rooms, for example, in Pamplona. There were 5 main rooms and only 1 streamed. In World in Seattle, they had 2 main rooms that were streamed. It depends on your setup. So here, let's do like we did at the French Nat. So stream the 2 main, and we don't care about what happens in the side rooms. So we do main green, and then something nice is that you can change the color of your room, so you can get the color from the WCA schedule. This is quite useful because usually it should be the color of the room if you have made your schedule clearly. So here this button is nice to get some nice color, but you can change it by clicking on the color, and then you can just choose whatever you want. Let's cancel it. This is just the Windows color picker tool. Okay, so we keep this green. This shows you what the button will look like. So this is when it's not clicked, and this is when it is clicked. This is quite useful because the software automatically detects if it should be white or black on the text. So here it showed on white, but if I choose something white, it will be black. So this can be nice to see because sometimes, depending on the color here, the automatically chosen font color might not be readable. So sometimes it's good to change it. For example, this one is quite hard to read, so it would be nice to change it to something more dark so that you can see more clearly, so whiten it. So let's pick this color from our green stage. Okay. Now, somehow it went it went on the background, and then so we had our green stage here. We can add another stage, which is the next one, which was the purple one. Once again, we can get the color directly from schedule. Looks fine, this white text. Okay, and then you have your 2 rooms here. You can delete them if you don't want them anymore. You can edit them as well, and then you can also change the order. So we have some arrows here. This makes this one go down, this makes this one go up. Yeah, it should be quite intuitive to move. And then you have your two stages. You can say, okay, now the interesting stuff can start, finally. Now for each venue, you can choose an event, a round, and a group. So let's say we're doing 3x3. So on an event, you can open and it will show everything. Let's do 3x3, round 1, and then here this will only be the groups that are declared in this venue. In our example, groups 1, 2, 3, we are only done in the side. So the software detects that there is nobody in main in groups 1, 2, 3, so it doesn't show here. So here we can go group 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go group 4 here, and then this was for the green room, and for the purple one, 3x3, same. Round 1, group 4, and then when we go OK, the interesting things happen is that here now it shows who is in the group 4 in green and in purple. So here we can see that in green we had Alvin Reuss, Elian Begek, Joris, Luca, Oliver. So this is the best competitors from both groups. this chooses the best 10 competitors from both groups combined. So now we had 5 and 5, but it could be unbalanced. Maybe it could be 6 and 4 or something like this. So this is, and they are ordered by stage. So green, then purple in the same order. And then they are ordered alphabetically. So A, E, J, L, O, B, D, I, J, V. So this is useful when you want to search a competitor. So let's say someone is telling you, oh, Valerio is now solving, please put his name. Then you can know that Valerio is at the end of the alphabet, so the button is likely to be here in the end and not here in the beginning. And something else that is interesting is that you can disable a stage. So let's say for this group you don't want to stream purple, maybe because purple is doing something else, or because your camera is broken or purple, I don't know. But let's say you don't want to see anyone on purple, you can disable the stage, and when you press OK, it will only show green people. Here you can see that we now have people that are much far back, so that has much worse seeds than before, because now we have more space for them. Since we are limited to 10 people, now we get the 10 best people of green. So it explains why now we have people that are a bit worse than we had before. And as I said, we had the max seed here that was 100. But if I move to 50, for example, now 56, 81, they should be removed. So I update the seed to 50. And if I press OK again, then only people in the top 50 will show. If I put the purple stage back again, then it doesn't change anything because we had 10 people in the seed 50, but if I move it to 20, let's say, now 28, 24 will go out, and now we only have people from top 20. Let's put it back to 100 so we have more people. So this is the basic operation of it, and then you can change the event if you have an event that has no rounds or maybe no groups. For example, 4 blind didn't happen in main. It was just 0 and 0 because there is no group and no round. So this helps you to know that there is no groups, that this event is not happening. But also it can help you to say that the round hasn't been loaded in the WCIF yet, as I said earlier. For example, if you're doing 3x3 and you only see round 1 here and you don't see round 2, but you're sure that round 2 should happen, maybe it's time to reload, and then round 2 will show on this. So this was for the basic button choice. And now what we can do is that when we click on a button, so here or here, so as you can see it stays clicked, and then you can click on someone else here, and yeah, it works as you expect. This will show in the card software that we will see a bit later on. So here, for example, in the card software, in the top left card, it will show Valerio. In the top right card, it will show Elian, and here, don't show anyone. And then you can click here to clean, so to clear the card and to remove the card and not show anyone anymore. So now that we've finished the button, setting up the buttons, the next step is what we can, so is more tailoring on what we can show on cards and on presentation. So first we have this change championship region from presentation. So basically it's a feature that wasn't used much. We used it in Pamplona, but that was it. It's when you want to introduce your competitors. So when you want to say, in seed 16 we have this and this from this country. This allows you to show some small picture or some text on some data or their flags or whatever. So this is a nice addition, but it's a bit tricky to do in practice, but could be nice to do when prepared properly. And this allows you to choose the order in which they will show. For example, if you're doing a national championship, maybe you want to introduce the foreigner competitors first, and then you introduce your local competitors, which is what we did in Pamplona, for example. We first had non-European competitors, and then European competitors. So here you can choose Europe, and then in the presentation mode, that we will see a bit later, it will first show non-Europeans and then Europeans. This is not very useful, it's really situational. This one, the next one is very useful, it's the change text on card. So when you are doing your card, you can send a custom text, we will see it a bit later, and this is the text that will be shown. And this allows you to get some data. So for example, you can get the WCA ID of the competitor, you can get the PR single and average or mean. You can get their national, continental, and world ranking, either in single or average and mean. You can get the seed. So the seed is based on the PRs. So for example here, it's the same seed as you see here. You can get the rank on the previous round, which is the seed for the final. You can also get what they got in the previous round in single or in average. And this is where you kind of format it. So for example, what we did in French Championship usually is that we do PR single, and this is PR single. So, oops, sorry. So this will be formatted nicely. This string will be replaced by their PR single. So for example, you will see the name of the competitor, and then you see PR single 645. And then we also did on our NR single, so that you know their ranking. And then we did the same for their average. So this is a basic text. This is like a basic example of what you may want as a text. Something else that you may want for finals would be the previous one. So you can do instead, you can do previous round, and then you would have the previous averages, and then it would be the seed previous rank. This is also something that can be done in finals. Obviously in an event with average, if you are doing blind, then you want to have previous single. Then once you are satisfied with here, so we will go, so let's move back to this PR single, PR average format. So PR single is PR single, and PR average, let's not show the rankings, and PR average is PR average. Yeah, so the rankings, as I said, can be national, continental, or world, depending on what you want to show. If you're doing a national championship, national rankings are probably the best. If you're doing worlds, obviously you don't care about the national ranking, you care about the world ranking. Now that you are satisfied with your text, you can save it. And you can also do the same on the presentation. It's exactly the same thing, but as I said, it's for the presentation mode that we used only in Pamplona. So same stuff, you can do whatever you want here. You can write the seeds, you can write a bit more data, because this presentation is meant to be in a bigger space than just a single card. But it's the same. We won't use it for now, but we will show it a bit later. Now, the important thing is the Telegram settings. So here, this is useful when we have Telegram bots, as I said. Here you need to retrieve what you saved from botfather. Remember? So interface bot token. So here, now the next settings is the Telegram settings. It is the last important one. Here it's useful when you are using Telegram bots. You need to retrieve what you had in your Telegram settings. So so here, if we go back to what we saved, So for this, I go back to what I have saved. For the interface, I had this API key. This is what botfather gave me. And then we had this channel number. Remember, the channel ID is what was in the URL of your channel with the minus, without the hashtag. Okay, now you can save your settings and everything should work fine. If you look at your Telegram window, the bot will say that it's ready. This is useful to know if everything worked properly or not, but yeah, this is a nice way to make sure that your bots are here. And now we can start actually using them. For it to work, I will first do the cards and the TimeTower, and then so now that the interface bot has said that it's ready, then the interface is ready to go. If you don't want to do it all again the next time, obviously, you can save your settings. So you can do save interface settings, and then we'll just call it interface. It will be a JSON, and just like this. If you want to load them, just click load and enter your settings. It takes some time because it needs to load the WCIF, but basically, yeah. Something that I didn't mention in Telegram settings is that if you keep it empty, it will work in local mode. So as I said, when you have the interface on the same PC as other bots, this is enabled by not doing anything in the Telegram settings. And now that the settings are over, the operation I showed you a little bit how it worked for the buttons, but we had a few more buttons that I didn't show you. Here we have this update TimeTower checkbox, and this will send a signal to the TimeTower bot that this is the final and that it should initialize to this round. We will see how it works in the TimeTower. In the future, I plan to remove this button and just let the software detect that this is the last round based on the number of rounds in the event, so that it automatically updates the TimeTower for it, because it's a bit tedious to have this checkbox here. And then we had the presentation mode, as I said. So this is a bit long here because no, we are in the file. So this is the 3x3 finals, round 4. Here, if I do start presentation, we first don't have anyone yet, and then when I click on next, the current competitor, so Daniel Rush, was the last. It was the only non-European, because remember we put European in the championship region. Yeah. So Daniel Rush was the So here for the presentation mode, we won't use 3x3 because 3x3 was a bit weird. But I want to show the championship example, the region. So here, let me move it to France, so that you can see in the actual example, because moving it to Europe won't make a lot of sense. Let's update region. Let's not use 3x3 because we had two groups in 3x3. First the foreigners and then the French. So not ideal. Let's do, I don't know, 2x2. So 2x2 round 3 group, there is only one group. And 2x2 round 3 group 1. Now if I push the button, you can see the qualified competitors here. Yeah, something that I didn't show because we only were looking at first rounds is that you can both see the seed, which is based on PRs, and what they actually placed in the first round, in the previous round, so here in semifinals. This is nice because you can see who placed better than their seed, for example, or who placed much worse than their seed. Yeah, in any case, it's quite useful to have both info. So when I start the presentation, as we said, it starts with the foreigners. So here, Valerio Locatelli was the last foreigner, apparently, in 2x2 finals. So when I do this, when I start, we don't see anyone in the presentation. Then when I click at Valerio, it will update the presentation with Valerio. And then with Kaor, then Daniel Rush, etc. Some quick info here. Don't click on this too quickly because there is a Telegram limitation on the number of messages you can send per minute. So be careful not to spam the button because otherwise your Telegram bot will just freeze for a minute. In normal behavior, this works fine because there is a mechanism in place. When you update this, it will just wait a bit before sending the actual data. But for this presentation mode, since this is more time sensitive, as soon as you click the button, it sends the info. So you need to be careful not to send it too quickly. So send the info for everyone. So Oliver Fritz, Alvin Reuls, and now this was the best foreigner. Now we're moving on to the worst French. And then you click on everyone, as I said. And when you're down to the last one, so like here, which was the best French in semifinals, your last button is to close the presentation and just to remove everything from the presentation, and now you're ready to go. So as I said, this is a bit tricky. This is not very useful. You may not want to use it. The other stuff that can be used here is that you can change for everyone. So here, you can change. So this has all the competitors in the round 3 of 2x2. For someone, you can change their text. So as said here, the text will only be for this specific event. And if you change the text here, instead of having the presentation or text card, it will show that one. In the presentation mode, sorry. Only in presentation, not in cards, but instead of having the text that we selected earlier here, change text and presentation, if you do a custom text here, you can just put something else. This is useful if you want to have some more data. So let's say that this is won the previous championship or whatever. This allows you to have some statistics that is formatted in another way than what is allowed in the software. This is once again very corner case, and yeah, it's a bit tricky to use. Same, you can do another image than their avatar. So if you have taken some nice pictures, especially for worlds, because this is usually the only competition that has enough production to allow this. But yeah, if you are taking other pictures of competitors and you want to show this instead of their WCA avatar, then you can use here to upload your custom picture to some photo website, and then you can use this URL to have these custom pictures instead of avatar. We haven't used this in production. We planned to use this, but we didn't in the end. But you can if you want. This is it for the interface. It's a bit complicated, but hopefully everything will be more clear once we see all the different softwares. So now we'll move on to cards. And before doing so, as you see, I changed some bit of the settings and I haven't saved yet. So now you can choose to save your interface settings here. Yeah, it asks if it wants to overwrite it. This is just basic Windows. stuff which is was it in French, but it will be in your local. Okay, and now it closes. And we have this JSON file with all of our settings in some human readable way. Now let's move on to cards. Before it, I just want to tell you that I have used AI to generate some placeholders for this tutorial. And other than that, there is only one feature that is done by AI, which is the local mode instead of the Telegram bot. So I didn't intend this local mode to be a production mode. It was only to do some development without having to have bots all the time when I wanted to develop it. But in the end, it ended into production. But this is the only AI generated code that is in the software. So now let's start the cards. So this is the cards program. Once again, console window and then the actual window, which has the same kind of layout as the interface. You can change here the number of cameras that you want. The minimum is 2 by 2. It's kind of a bug that it has to be more than 2, but we'll see if I can resolve it or not. So if, for example, here I want less cameras, so let's say 1 and 1, you'll see that it still keeps the window's size for all the cameras, but it's not actually a big deal because it will populate nicely. But yeah, for this tutorial, let's use 4 cameras in total, which is what we had in the interface. Now, the important thing that you want to do is a layout. So the layout opens 2 windows. This is a preview window, and this is your actual config window. So here you can change the width and the height of your card. So let's say you want to make it bigger. You can also type a number. Same for the height. Then you can change the background color. For this one, I advise you to use magenta. This will be used on your software to do transparency when the card is empty, because you want to have your cards show all the time on your OBS software, because you don't want to manually turn it off and on every time. But for it to work when there is nothing to show, then it needs to be transparent. And I advise you to choose magenta instead of green or blue. So you could also do like full blue or full green, are also often used as transparency colors, but green and blue show on flags and magenta doesn't. And since we will probably use use flag on these cards, I advise you to choose magenta because it doesn't show on flags. So for the background color, as I said, we pick magenta. And then what you can do is that you can have some image or video as the background. So as I said, it is what I generated with AI. Here you can update some image. You have intro, background, and outro. For now, we've only used background in production, as far as I know. In Euros, it was a looping video, but in our NATs, it was usually just a still image. The software supports both. So it supports both video types, video files, and image files. Just detect which one it is, and then either loops the video or use a still image. So for this one, I will use a looping video. Let me just show you what it looks like. It's just it's just a random stuff I asked AI to generate, and it gave me some Python code to generate this file. So it's just a 1 second loop that has some animated background, some border. It's a bit ugly, but it's just a placeholder anyway. And then we also have the open transition, which goes from a magenta background to opening the card. And then we also have the close transition that does the opposite. That does the opposite. So now let's go back to the cards. As I said, so here for the intro video, we will choose panel open. For the background video, we'll use panel loop. And for the closing video, we'll use panel close. So basically the background video or image will always be present as long as there is someone's name in the card, so a button that is clicked on the interface. Intro shows when you go from no one clicked to someone clicked, and outro shows when you go from someone clicked to nobody clicked. If you change the name, so if you have your interface open and you move to just a name to another one, it won't show the outro and then the intro back, because it would be a bit too, like, it would be long for nothing. It would be a bit ugly to have, for example, your card closing and then opening it directly again. It just changes the name and keeps the background. So here we have intro, background, outro. I have put everything. Let's press OK. Now if we go here back on this config window, the first interesting thing here is that the width and the height were automatically adjusted to match the background image or video. So here in this case video. This is very useful to make sure that your card is perfectly adjusted to your specific background. And now you can see all these elements here. First we have the name. So here it's a bit here, you can kind of see it. It's competitor's name, so let's put it a bit here more clearly. It's this competitor name. One very useful feature of this preview window is that we can actually drag and drop. So here, for example, this is a competitor name, and you just choose where you want to put it in the card. Could be top left, top right, bottom left, depends on what you want to do. You can change the font. This goes to all your fonts that are installed on your machine. So if you want to use a custom font, it is completely possible. You can just install the font with Windows, and then it will show here. After maybe rebooting, maybe relaunching the software, depends. But for example, this we had this Linux Biolinum font family for our from our graphics team, and this one we can use. We can use any font that is on your machine. You can change the font size, obviously. You can make it bold if the font has a bold mode. You can make it italic if the font has italic. You can change the color. Once again, the wonderful Windows color picker. Sometimes it just goes in the background. Don't know why, but feel free to just click it, back on it, and make it pop back again. This is gonna make an ugly card, but yeah, at least we can see all the features. So let's put this one in italic. So yeah, let's put it right here in top. And also, finally, I don't know what this green stuff is. Okay, this is weird, but okay. This is just a visual artifact from this drag and drop that is probably not working very fine with an italic name, but doesn't matter. Finally, the last feature is that you can either have the full name or just the initial of the first name. If you want to have smaller cards or maybe bigger font, you may not want to have the full first name and the full surname because it could be a bit long. In this case, you can click this checkbox. So if you click it, it shows the full name. If you uncheck it, it shows the initial of the first name and then the full last name, full surname. Finally, the last thing I didn't mention is the alignment. So here it's aligned on the left and on top. You can align center or align right. This will allow you, for example, if you put it here, now it will be nicely aligned to the right. Because if I choose left and I put it here, it works on someone named C name, but for someone named Timon Kolashinsky, it would go Timon Kolashinsky out of the card. So yeah, this is very useful if you want to align. Same for top, center, and bottom. It just changes the anchor. Maybe a nice feature would be to show the anchor. I don't know. Could be a nice feature. I will think about it. But for now, we'll use the competitor name here in top left. So we'll need to keep the left alignment and top alignment. Okay. Now the next one is the text. The text, we saw it on the interface. So it was, for example, this PR single, PR average stuff. The text we can show, so same stuff. You can drag and drop. You can change the font size, bold, italic, color, position. So this is also by the drag and drop. It automatically changes the position and alignment. So here, let's put it here, for example. So this was a 2-line text in our example. I would advise you to choose 2 or maybe 3 lines, but more is just too much information. Now, another very nice feature that is new, that we didn't have in Pamplona, mostly, but that is new from this year, is that you can get the results from the finals. So here, same stuff, drag and drop, change the font, blah, 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 blah. And it is the results that are entered in WCA Live. It gets also the results from live, just like the TimeTower, but it allows you to have a place when you have more details about the results that are entered. So it's a nice things to have. Okay, so results here, and then finally you have 2 images. So you have the flag. Oops, I grabbed. Okay, so you can have the flag. It's a bit bigger, so let's reduce the size. What we do here is that we only choose the height of the flag, and the width will be automatically calculated based on the ratio of the flag, because not all flags have the same ratio. So this is the US ratio, but for example the Switzerland one is square. Some are more or less wide. So in order to make sure that no flags are distorted, what I chose is that we just choose the height of the flag, and then it will go a bit wider if needed, or less wide if needed. So let's put the flag here in the corner, and then you can show the WCA avatar. So this is a bit like, this may not be very useful because usually you see the competitor, so the avatar may not be useful. You can remove it if you want. It can be useful when you have custom pictures, as I said. So you could have, this is the custom picture that we can see in the interface. So this could be nice to have. And now we have everything. We have the name, the text, flag, full results for a final. So we can press OK. It will save everything and create 4 cards with magenta background. Yeah, there is still a small bug here because we had slightly bigger placeholders. Yeah, I will look into fixing this bug for the next version, but unfortunately we will have to have it for now. The next setting is the FPS, because yeah, you may want to have 50 FPS because it's nicer. But if you are doing this on your streaming PC, you may not want to dedicate this processing to this pretty useless feature compared to the streaming features. So it's just a trade-off between having some nice visuals versus dedicating some resources to it. In addition, the way it works is that it loops every this part of a second. So if you put 10, it will loop each 10th of a second to load the corresponding frame from the video. So it can be very expensive, and if you put something like 100 FPS, you won't get 100 FPS because it will just cap. And it won't cap like video games would cap, it will just cap by being as fast as it can. So 25 is a nice ratio. Okay, and now the last one is Telegram. Same as the interface. We get our data back from what we saved from the Telegram settings. We had this card bot token, and we have the channel ID. Okay, save Telegram settings. Ah, we had someone. We had someone from the presentation that was left. So yeah, it showed. This is nice. And then finally you can save your card settings. Cards. Same stuff as the interface. It will create a JSON file with everything important in it. Slight note, if you are doing if you are sending up everything on one PC and streaming on another one, make sure to change the path in the settings. Because if you look at the interface background, no, sorry, it was the cards. If you look at the cards for the files, it will just have some absolute path. So if you change computer or something, make sure to change the path here. Otherwise, it won't find the files. Now that we have both interface and cards, we can see how it actually works. So let's launch interface first and load our settings. Okay, we're gonna put it here just so you can see a little bit the cards behind, but actually you can just make it in full screen when you're actually using it. And now for the cards, same thing, we're just launching cards again and opening our settings. So yeah, you can see it shows a little bit of people, but it's just, yeah, very temporary just to load everything. So now, okay, let's do group round one group. Let's do 5 to change for a bit. Also, one important thing that I didn't mention here. Usually in production, you wouldn't see the cards on the screen. You would just reduce them because either you are doing OBS or yeah. So you may not want, if you're using OBS, you may not want to see them because you're just capturing the window. But just know that Windows doesn't update something that is out of screen. So if you are doing thing like this, for example, if your cards are a bit too big, this fits nicely. But if you have huge cards that don't fit in the screen, just know that even if you don't really care about the window because it is reduced, just know that Windows won't update. It will update this part, but it won't update the part right to it because it's not on a screen. So make sure that even if you don't really care about the window because it's reduced, make sure that you are actually seeing it all in the screen. Same if you go like this and you just don't see the window anymore, it won't be uploaded by Windows. So make sure to always fully see the cards on your screen, even when you reduce it to see OBS. So now in our example, let's do round 1 group 5 as I said, and let's say we want to see Juliette on the left. We click on Juliette and then the card will open and show Juliette with PRs because this is what we choose to have in the text. So apparently the looping background isn't looping very nicely, but it's just because the code is bad for the background. I didn't put a lot of effort into it, just got what AI gave me. So here we see Juliette, and if we want to change, so let's say Charles here, it just changes the info. Yeah, obviously his name is a bit longer, so it's a bit uglier, but it just changes the info. If we have someone else, it will change the flag here. And if we clean, so if we clear it, if we remove someone completely, it will close. Okay. And same on the right. So here we can have Kaur on the right. It will open. Perfect. And then someone else on the left, it will open. And then if we change someone, let's say we change here, they will both change at the same time. As I said, there is a slight, there is a limitation on the number of messages that you can send per minute. So it's why when you click here, it can take a few seconds to update because it's only sending every 3 seconds. It's also why even though I click on both of them at separate times, they update at exactly the same time. Just a small detail. So yeah, and once again, if I want to close the cards, I can close both of them and they're gonna close. Okay, that's it for the test. Now we can move on to the TimeTower. So let's run it and we get the usual command, the usual interface. First step is the competition ID. This is not the WCA ID. So this is not French Championship 2026. we just need to go to live and then actually get here in the URL, get the, so here 10228. This is the ID that is don't interest us. Unfortunately, as far as I know, there is no way to get this ID from the competition ID. It's not in the WCIF, for example. So that's why we have to put this here and not get it from WCA ID. I've put 4 digits, but it is now actually 5. We have moved past 10K. Now, the next stuff you can do here is a refresh delay. As I said, this gets results from live, but you may choose how often it gets results from live. So if you put 0, as soon as it is free, it will send a request. It might not be ideal because it may spam requests for a while your finals haven't started, for example. So having a small delay might be good to make sure that it's not spamming. Something like 1 second is enough because you won't notice that the results arrive 1 second too late. And it still ensures that it's not spamming WC Live too much. So let's put 1 second here. The next step here is to update the region. So if you want to see more clearly who is actually competing for the title and the podium, who is from the region and who isn't competing for the title, is just competing in the competition, this allows you to have different colors and different layouts. So here we can put France as an example. Okay. Now, next step is to update the layout. So, the layout, once again, you have here the config and here the preview. So here's the preview, we have Timon and Max. And then you can, as usual, change everything. So, first step is to change the ranking width. Here you have this ranking, and you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, you choose. Oops, sorry. So let's keep it at 50. Next is the flag. As I said, different widths. So here you can see that, for example, the US flag is a bit wider than the Polish one. So once again, you change the height of the flag, and then the width will automatically update. But you have some container here that is between the ranking and the name, and you can change this width to allow for any flag. So here, for example, you see that it's a bit too small, maybe. So let's put it a bit bigger. Here, this one you can choose to either have first letter and 3 first letter of the surname, because this was inspired by Formula 1 rankings, which has a nice 3-letter format. But sometimes it's a bit hard to know who it actually represents. Well, this is obvious, but in some cases it may not be. So you can just choose to have all the full name. In that case, you may want to have a bigger name width, because here obviously it's completely cut. So here let's put 400. Maybe not 400, 200 maybe? Yeah, 200 seems nice. And here you can fully see the name. Then the next one is this solve count here, which is how many solves they have done out of the total number. So it can be 5 or 3, depending on the event. This doesn't need to be very big, it's just informative. Then you have the result width, which is this one currently. So here you can see that it's a bit big actually. We can reduce it a bit if we keep this small font. Then you have BPA, WPA. So this is some nice info that you get once you have done 4 solves. Is that you see the BPA, the WPA of the competitor. So here same, it's the width of this information. And here you have the width of the separator, which is this small dash here. It's not a dash, it's actually a separator. So you can make it big if you want to separate between the left one and the right one. It just depends on your font, on your layout and everything, but it's fully customizable. It's a bit too much work to do, but at least it allows you to make sure that it's pixel perfect and that you can really get what you want in terms of layout. You can also change the line height, bigger, smaller, etc. You can change this small here height between the lines. You may want to have nothing, and then how many pixels you want, maybe a big, this is nice, and then how many lines you want to show. So same, it depends on your layout. Maybe you want to have top 16, top 12, top 8, depends. Usually 16 or 12 works nicely. It's usually what can fit with like 50 line height is nice, and this can, yeah, 16 or 12 is nice. Then once again you can change the font. This time you can only change the font of everything at once. So here for the font you can use whatever you want. Okay, this is quite ugly. Let's do Korean New. Yeah, this is ugly but at least readable. Then you have for each separate element, so for the ranking you can change the size. Maybe the ranking needs to be a bit bigger because it's important. You can change bold, italic. Then the name here, you can make it a bit bigger with this font. Yeah, okay. Yeah, obviously this cuts a little bit here, but depends on the length of the name. We can make it bold, italic. Then the source count is this one. We can make it a bit, maybe a bit smaller. It's not as useful, but bold because we want to see it actually. Incomplete result is when the average isn't finished yet. So here, yeah, you can see here, and yeah, it should be italic. And result, damn, I thought Max had a finished result. I will need to update this for the next release. But basically it's the same. But yeah, when you have done all 5 solves or all 3 solves, it's good to have it a bit bigger and maybe bold so that it's clear who has finished and who hasn't. Even though we still have this BPA too that really shows who is finished. And then you can change the BPA as well. Bold, italic, everything. Next, you have the colors. So background color, once again, I would advise magenta to make sure that you can make it transparent. It's super ugly, but at least you can integrate it in your layout by making this transparent. Now, as I said, you have local and foreigners. So in this example, Timon is the local one and Max is the foreigner. For the local competitor, you can change the name and ranking background. So here it's black, but maybe you want to put it red, I don't know, or green. Yeah, it's gonna be ugly, but it's just to test. So let's put it in a darker green. Then it's the text color. So here it's all in white, but you can write text, I don't know, something like this. Okay, it's absolutely impossible to read it. But let's put, I don't know, something like this, maybe. Yeah, okay. And then same here for the second part, which is the results. It's nice that it's not the same color so that you can see, like this is really the name and this is the info. Yeah, but you can just play with everything and just find out what suits your layout, your design. And then same for the foreign competitors. Let's not change them, but yeah, you get the idea. And then finally, there is an animation section. When the results update, someone may pass someone else. So here we have some animation that shows what happens when they pass each other. So here first it reduces the line, then they pass each other, expand the line, and they pass each other again. These lines automatically apply when you get to 4 solves. So when you get to 3, when you have 3 solves, you don't have anything. When you get your 4th one, except in blind, obviously, but when you get your 4th solve, it expands. And then when you have done your 5th solve, it goes back. So this is nice to see if your laptop can handle, like let's say I want 100 FPS. Can it handle it? Yeah, it's definitely not 1 second. It's much more than 1 second because it is trying to do 1 second at 100 FPS and can't. So let's put it back to 50. And then yeah, same, this is a duration. So maybe it felt a little bit too long. This closing, this. Yeah, it's a bit too long. Let's put 500 here. Should be faster. Yeah. Much better. So here you can just customize your animation. And then you push OK, and everything is ready. Here you can see that once again it fits all here in this window. So it is ready to be integrated in OBS, because in TimeTower in particular it's more important than in cards to make sure that everything is on the window. It doesn't go just back there. So we have done the layout. Once again we have this Telegram settings. Always the same stuff. It's once again, so now that we have done the layout, the next step is once again the Telegram settings. It's still the same settings as usual. It's just, let me fade them back. We had it here. So the TimeTower token was this one, and the channel, once again, this one. We save the settings, and now the TimeTower is ready to work. How does it work? It's quite easy actually. When you have the interface, we are going to load the interface settings. Maybe just reduce the number of buttons a bit, because we don't care much, but we just want a smaller window so that I can show you the TimeTower on the same screen. So here what happens is that when I click Update TimeTower, it will send a signal to the TimeTower that it needs to be updated for this event and this round. So here it will be 3x3 finals. It's already over, so the TimeTower obviously won't update in real life, but you can see here that we chose the reduced name. So now we have the ranking of everyone with the number of souls. They have done 5 souls each. And we see here that these are foreigners and these are local competitors, because we choose France as a region. And yeah, to see how it works when you get results, I will refer you to the examples that we had in the start of the video, where you could see the ranking updating in live. Here I can't do it anymore because the competition is over, but yeah, you see the idea of the TimeTower. And same, you can save the settings, call it TimeTower, and then, oops, and then it's just finished. Before starting on the integration with OBS, let's just quickly talk about the fourth application, which is Launch Display. What it does basically is just combines the cards and the TimeTower. So if we open Launch Display, you have one card settings and one TimeTower settings. And here you just load the settings that we had already for cards and TimeTower. So just loading the cards. It could be in any order. And then loading the TimeTower. Now we have everything. It's barely in the window, so it works. But as we saw, we need it to be fully in the window. So it works for now, but if we had a slightly bigger cards, it wouldn't work. Or maybe we would need to have the 4 cards in one column, for example. This is what we did in Euros. We had the cards in the column to prevent this. And this is useful only when you're doing the 3 PC setup. Because in this setup, you are using your screen as a source. So here you will be able to use both the TimeTower and the 4 cards on the same source. But I wouldn't recommend using it if you are doing the other setups, because yeah, it's easier to have separate windows so that you can more easily control what you're doing. Here, for example, if you would want to reload the TimeTower completely, you would need to quit everything, or maybe the card would be too big and wouldn't fit in the screen. So yeah, it's only useful if you're doing the 3 PC setup, so where one laptop is running this and then has an HDMI cable with a capture card. Otherwise, it's not useful. So now for integrating into OBS, let's open everything. So cards. And for each one, let's load the settings we already had saved. So cards look good now. We can make the window full screen. This would help with cropping, because then the size will never change. If we keep it like this, then maybe at some point we mistakenly do this, and then the cropping is completely off. since we are going to crop the window and get only the cards. So I'd advise doing this so that at least it's cropped. You can't move the window without wanting to, so at least it's there. Now, so this is the card, this is the interface. So same stuff, loading interface. And so for this one it's full screen just because it's more practical. So basically just this one won't get shown on stream, but yeah, it's more natural to have something full screen than to have a windowed one. So we now have the interface, and lastly the TimeTower. So same thing, let's do it big. Okay, so now we have all three windows. Now let's go to OBS. For this example, I've used the actual layout we had for our French national stream. We had some elements missing because we had some text and stuff, but this is just a basic example, so we don't care about this. Let's start by integrating the TimeTower neatly here on the left. So you can add this is a mode. Oh no, sorry, this is a window capture. I'm sorry, in French it's in another order because it's alphabetical in both language, so I'm not used to have it in English. So window capture is the last one. You create a TimeTower source, and then the window you choose is just the TimeTower, obviously. Here in the window match, I would advise saying that the window title must match. Because the type here, so here you can see it's launch timetower.exe, but it could be Python. And if it's Python, meaning that only the type would be okay, then if the TimeTower goes down, if you close the window, it could show any Python screen, any Python window, which can be bad. It happened to us once, it showed the interface instead of the TimeTower. It's a bit ugly, so here making sure that it must match, just say that if you close the TimeTower, it will be blank. So, perfect. Okay. And now you would also transform and edit transform just to get only this magenta part. So you first need to crop to the left, so 1000 pixels should be enough, a bit more, 1002, yeah, perfect. We are close to perfectly getting a line, looks good. Right, we only have a couple pixels to crop maybe, I'm not sure. Too much, okay. Okay, perfect. On top, a bit more than on the bottom, I would say. On the right, I would say. Oh, like there was once again. Okay, good. And on the bottom, so like 20. No, 20 maybe. Yep, a bit more than 20. Okay, looks good. Oops. Let's lock the background. And the TimeTower looks good. Okay, it's a bit too big to fit in the space. Let's reduce it a bit. Yeah, this is basically just OBS stuff. Yes, this is not an OBS tutorial, but yeah, just basic stuff. So this will be the TimeTower. We can already test it. As you can see, there is some white stuff against it. So apparently, I haven't cropped enough. I still see some left pixel here. And on the bottom. Okay, looking good. Not sure. Okay. Well. Perfect. And now if I go to the interface and I load a final, so let's load 3x3. Yeah, 3x3 is not a bad example because it has two groups. So let's load the 2x2 finals. If we load it and we check the update TimeTower here, it's important to load the TimeTower as well. The TimeTower did populate. And now, if I go back to OBS, we have the nice TimeTower. Perfect. This extra space here is for the expansion that happens when we get the WPA and BPA. So we need to have some space here. It can be above your cameras if you want to, because it kind of makes sense that it's just the TimeTower eating into another space. It would make sense, depends on what you want really. So it's just what we chose to do, but yeah, you can choose to do everything. The last step obviously is to remove, is to add a filter to remove the magenta. So let's add the chroma key, magenta, and okay, looks good. Okay, looks like I was too a bit too yeah, the similarity was too high. So basically you just choose the similarity so that all the interlines disappear. But yeah, if you choose too much, it will eat into the red of the flags. So just like this should be nice. Nah. The red got removed too much. So yeah, I'll let you play with the settings to get something that matches your needs. But yeah, looks good. It looks ugly, but it's because we had an ugly colors before. So now we have finished integrating the TimeTower. To discuss a bit the card integration, I will also discuss camera integration. So I've added 2 more cameras to discuss it. So let's pretend we have 4 cameras. So we had cam 1. I've used just still screenshots from the stream, which is why also they are low quality, which doesn't matter much because in the end they will be smaller, so the low quality won't show. Let's say we have a second camera and then one overhead here and one overhead there. So our 4 cameras is also the 4 cards that we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4 will just be 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. So first, let's focus on adding the cards to the scenes. So cam 1, we can add a window capture. This is going to be card 1. And then what we want to capture is the stream cards. We capture stream cards. Once again, we say that the title must match. It's a bit better. Okay, looks good. And once again, we are going to crop it. So to crop it, sorry, I got lost here. Yeah, not sure how much should be nice. Yeah, it looks pretty good. 1000 seems too much. No, it looks good. This looks good. No, this is a bit too much. 950 maybe. Okay. Okay, 955 looks about right. And right should be 450 should be about this. A bit more. 5, 480, 490, 500 sounds good. A bit less maybe. No, 500 was good. Okay. And then top is going to be 200, something like this. Yeah, it's taking a bit of time, but just to make sure that we crop it right. And then bottom is gonna be, let's say 500. Oops, sorry. 520, 530, 540. Yeah, sounds about good. Okay, so now we have our card that is perfectly cropped. Let's put it somewhere here. And good. So now we are going to have cam 2. We are going to do the same, but instead of cropping the top left, we will crop the top right. So I'm just gonna cut to when everything is done. Okay, so now I have my 4 scenes. Each has its own card. It's not perfectly placed, obviously. This is just a tutorial. If you do it live, just make sure that everything is properly aligned, so it's neater. Now we will use the same key as we did here. So the same chroma key. So let's copy the key. It's gonna be easier. And copy the key, and then not sure if it works to directly copy. No, we need to filter, copy it, paste. Okay, perfect. Here, filters, paste. So once again, this is just to remove this magenta stuff, so that when it's not shown, it just doesn't show anything. Oh, here we can see that there is still a slight white pixel line, we will change it right afterwards. Okay, here same. So here we need to crop one more pixel at the top apparently. Perfect. Cam3 is the same. Cam2 is good and Cam1 is good. Okay. So now we have all of 4 cameras, each with its card. So what we can see now is we go to the interface and let's say we put Diego on card 1, Caro, well, obviously let's just do it that way, it will be easier. So Anael first, Diego second, Caro third, Louis-Marie fourth. If we go back to our scenes, we can see that here we get Anael, Diego, Caro, and Louis-Marie. So as you said, so we saw this ugly background. We get the text we had and also the live results. Since the round is now over and everything is entered, you can see the results. So this is pretty nice because it will populate as the round goes. So first you will maybe only get the first solve and then 2 solves, 3 solves, with the parenthesis around best and worst after 2 solves. So this will be quite nice info to have. And if we go in the interface, let's so for example, if we close Diego, as I mentioned, the card's closed, and if we put it back, it will open. Okay, now this is quite nice. And how to integrate it into the layout. So now when we add a source, we can add a scene source. So this is a kind of a trick, because here what we are doing is that we associate one card with one camera. So this was, let's say, the left camera, this is the right camera, this is the overhead 1 camera, and this is overhead 2 camera. What is nice is that this allows you to say, oh, I know that Anael is gonna be on the left camera, so you click here, and you don't need to know if that camera will be on this side or on that side. If we use a scene source, you will get the whole information at once. In the previous competition where we have used this, we would actually have a duplicate of card sources and just know which one was each camera. Or we would say that instead of associating each button or each card to a specific camera, we would associate it with a specific position within the frame. So instead of having this is cam 1, cam 2, cam 3, we would say, oh, Anael, we are going to show him on the left frame. It's not good because then you need to know both cameras, framing, etc. It's not ideal if you are dealing with multiple cameras at once. This method is a bit more clear because you just need, as the person who changes the name here just need to say, oh, the person on the left camera is now Anael, so I'm gonna say that the person on the left is Anael. And then another person who is handling the framing and the scene, etc., just takes this camera and shows it, but he can show it wherever he wants. He can show it by itself, he can show it on the left, on the right, doesn't matter. So it's really, I think it's easier to use than the previous setups we had. So now how it works is that you would just add a scene source, which is cam 1 scene. And this is, as I will say, the left cam with the cards associated for it. And let's put it in the frame. Okay, it's not very legible, but yeah, it's just an example. So now that we've put this cam 1 scene here, what we are going to do is that we are going to put the cam 2 at the same spot. So here we are going to copy the transform and put it here on the same. Why are we doing this? It's because if we want to show cam 2, we just show cam 2 and hide cam 1. If we want to show cam 1 on the left, we hide cam 2 and we show cam 1. This you can program either key binding to this of hiding showing, or you can do an OBS Stream Deck, which is what we've been using. So here you can do the same, cam3 scene, and we paste the transform, and then we have cam4 scene, and we paste the transform. This allows you to have 4 scenes, and depending on which one you are showing or hiding, it would select which one goes on the left here. And each time you get the cards corresponding to the camera. For the right, you're going to do the same, but the issue is that here you need to duplicate the scene, basically, and put it in cam1, scene 2. This one you need to duplicate it as well. And then here, same stuff, we add a scene source, which is cam1, scene 2. This one, yeah, this time we need to crop it appropriately for that one. Here, oops, looking good. Yeah, looking kind of good. And then we will copy, so Ctrl-Shift-C copies the transform. Then we add a scene source for cam2, scene 2. We paste the transform, it goes there. Then we add another scene for cam3, scene 2. And another one for cam4. So now what we achieved is that basically when we want to show a specific camera on the left, you decide which source and which you show and which source you hide between these 4 scenes. So if you want to see cam1, you remove everything but cam1. If you want to see cam2, you remove it and you say cam2, cam3, cam4. And same on the right. If you want to show cam1, you remove everything but cam1. If you want cam2, cam2, cam3, and cam4. Yeah, tools like Stream Deck are very powerful to directly, when you press a button, hide some sources and show some sources. So Stream Deck is very powerful to do this. And the huge benefit of doing this scene source is that you only need to change it once to get both the camera and the card. The way we did it for French Championship is that we had kind of this method, but for webcams directly, and then we needed to have the same for sources for the card. So for each thing, so for each frame here, that had 2 possible cameras plus 4 overheads plus 6 cards. It was a bit tedious. So I think it's better to have 1 scene per cam. So this will never move. This will always be the first cam with always the first card. And this is basically a duplicate of the first one, just to get the same data, but to be able to put it in another space. And things like this. So I think that's it for integrating into OBS. So I hope everything was clear. If it's not, you feel free to ask me any questions, so either as a YouTube comment or send me an email, WCA email. Now, the last thing I wanted to do as a conclusion is just to show you the future features that I hope I will be doing in the next year. So in the interface, yeah, now we have this ugly, as I said, we have this ugly update TimeTower button, so I want to remove it and just detect if it's final or not. Once again, in the interface, it says cuber for camera 1, cuber for camera 2, cuber for camera 3. I wanted to say left camera, A camera, B camera, overhead A, overhead B, station 11, whatever you want to, a custom title so that it's nicer to use for the person manning it, so that they can more easily know which one corresponds to which camera. Something that could be really nice when you're using overhead cams. Usually you already know in advance who will be sitting at which station, so you could auto-click those competitors. Because if you give the program according to the seating who should be seated where, it should be able to detect that overhead 1 is always, let's say, on the fourth local competitor. So it would click on the fourth local competitor, and you wouldn't need to click on overhead competitors. It's a small improvement, but it would make it a bit easier to use. Then for the TimeTower expansion, right now it expands every time for everyone. I'm not sure if it's if it's a good way to go. Initially, what the TimeTower expansion was that it could show all the results of one specific targeted competitor. So a competitor who was also on the card. We moved it to BPA and WPA because this felt like very useful info, and the expansion was a nice way to show this info. But I don't know if it's good to have it for everyone. So I'm not sure if I will filter it or not, but yeah, we'll see. And then what I do for WCA Live is that I use the old API, but apparently there is a new one now that is probably easier to use. I need to document myself on this and use it, and especially WCA Live will be replaced in the future. We'll see near, far, I have no idea. This is for WST to decide. But yeah, basically this works on WCA Live, but Live won't live forever. So I will need to adapt to the new successor. So hopefully all of this will be done for next French Nationals, which should be around April or May or March maybe 2027. And since the development is motivated by these new competitions coming up, so it's likely that you will see that if you see these, you probably see these changes in early 2027, so maybe February or March, when I start working on the stream for next Nats. I don't think I will do any development on in the following months, like in the rest of 2026. Maybe if there is some bug, or if you want a feature and I have time to work on it or something, just feel free to ask for anything, any support. I can also help on the exact setup, like how to wire your cameras together. We used the NDI, sorry, as a it's a protocol that goes over wired Ethernet, which is much easier to do than having some USB or HDMI cable, which can get it's difficult to get long cable for this, but long Ethernet is absolutely not an issue. You can easily get 100 meters with Ethernet, but you can't get 100 meters with HDMI. And also, it also means that you don't need many USB ports or stuff like this. You just plug everything through a switch and everything works fine. So yeah, I can also give advice towards this if you want, or make a video maybe, we'll see. So yeah, in any case, thanks for watching. I hope it's not too long a video, and I hope you understood everything, and I hope it can be useful for your competitions. Bye!